Hello viewers, you are watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Aliou Cisse. And as we are all aware, the President of the Republic, President Barrow, is expected to arrive in Banjul this evening after completing the first leg of his 2025 Meet the People tour, a nationwide engagement designed to allow the President to listen directly to Gambians, but equally to assess ongoing development projects and outline his government priorities for next year. I am Aliou Cisse, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. And then throughout the program, we will be bringing you live pictures, real-time updates, as well as discussion, on the important tour. And in the studio, I have CD Cisse, who is the Administrative Secretary of the National People's Party. We will also be joined on the program by my colleague, Ansumana Eso Nyasi, who has been covering, the President's tour. And of course, Babukar Cisse will also be giving us live updates, from different locations as far as this special live broadcast is concerned regarding the arrival of the President, from his Meet the People tour. As we all know, during this first leg, the President has visited, several communities and also inspected, several ongoing projects. And during the meetings as well, we have had Gambians, raise issues around infrastructure, agriculture, electricity, and of course, water supply, among other issues, to which the President took time to respond and recommit, the government's, desire to make sure, they meet the aspirations of every Gambian. And like I said, during the course of this, live broadcast, our reporter, Ansumana Eso Nyasi, who has been covering the tour, and Babukar Cisse, who is also at different locations, will be giving us, real updates as the presidential convoy, moved from, Lower River region to Kalaji, to Brikama, and down to Banjul. Before we get into the discussion proper, we'll just bring you updates, short excerpt of the President's interview well before he departed the terminal for his Meet the People tour. Let's take a listen to what the President had to say regarding his expectation from the tour.
As you said, this is a constitutional requirement that every year the President should tour the country to meet with the people. Meeting the people is very important, because I will engage the communities and I will have dialogue with them, to listen to them and see what are their concerns and see how will that work with government policies. Basically, the tour is all about that. But it is always important to have a dialogue. Dialogue is important, communication, and the best way to communicate is to interface. So we are going to interface with the people. Basically, that's all it's about. Yes, it is 1 year, and since 1 year we have been implementing projects. And some of these projects, it is the technicians who are briefing me, or some of my ministers. So it's important for me to go and see for myself. Sometimes they can tell you they are 90% while they are 70%. So to verify that and see exactly what is happening, that's why we are visiting project sites. We are engaged in a lot of projects, many of them. I cannot visit all, but the most important ones, I will try my best to make sure I visit them. And if there is any action, or if there are any challenges, when we come back to Banjul, we will table it and see how best we handle it. This time we are more organized, because whenever we engage the people, we note everything, and it is in the form of a booklet. Then we have action points and follow.
Well, there you heard the President of the Republic, President Barrow. We are speaking to reporters, shortly before he departed Banjul for his Meet the People tour at the terminal, where he was seen off by the Vice President, the Deputy Speaker, and other senior government officials at the terminal. Like I said, I'm joined on the program by CD Cisse, who is the Administrative Secretary of the National People's Party. CD, good to have you on the program. To start with, from your perspective, what actually stands out for you as the most significant achievement from the first leg?
Thank you very much, Aliou, and thank you for having me. And I say hello to all our viewers, and also to congratulate the Secretary General and the party leader and the President of the Republic of the Gambia and the Commander-in-Chief, President Barrow, for a successful first leg. It is important for us to take stock that the exercise that has been happening, or the President have just done, it is a constitutional mandated, tax that the President has to. which is section 222, 15 of the 1997 Constitution, why the president should go on Meet the People's Tour, at least once, twice. But we all know the constraints of resources. President Barrow decided to do once a year, and he do it very well. Your question is what stands out is the fact that President Barrow have gone to see at least 22 sites. Those
are live pictures. Yes. I mean, we are getting from Kalaji, from the Burimang Bridge. I mean, which separates, which is the border between the Lower River region and West Coast region. That's the president who has just arrived at the Kalaji Bridge. I mean, where he's being received by, by the governor of the West Coast region, Usman Bojang, and other senior government officials, of course, I mean, from the West Coast region. And also, I mean, NPP supporters are there as well. I mean, that's the president just been, received by, officials of the West Coast region city. The president is about to enter the West Coast region finally.
It is a tradition. Yeah. That bridge is the border between LRR and West Coast. So from the First Republic to the Second Republic to date, this is a tradition that happens. But coming back to the essence of this tour, is that the president not only went and spoke to farmers, but also have gone to see very important projects that actually are very close to his heart. Out of many projects that I have seen, but I've seen some of the projects that the president went and see, especially the project that is in Farafenye by Amidou Jah, the cement factory. I think for me, yes, it is not a government project, it's a private entity, it's a private individual, but then we talk about growth in the Gambia. We have seen a lot of things that we consume in this country are imported into this country. We have the environment today that Gambians can venture into some of these projects and some of these businesses to actually help in terms of the production of goods that we have in this country. And also the rice field, the Jahali Pachar, what I've seen, the Barrow farm. I mean, we are very dependent in importation of rice, and the president is very passionate that we wanted a Gambia that we can grow what we eat. Of course, these slogans are here, but we want to make it a reality. And that reality, we have seen that in Barrow farm and many other farms in Jahali Pachar.
So, I mean, during the tour as well, we saw large crowds in all the joint meetings that was organized. I mean, how do supporters, especially NPP supporters, actually interpret this level of turnout?
I mean, the Meet the People's Tour, we looked at last year, was a very successful one. This year too is very successful. But it's love for President Barrow and love for his development. You see, most of the communities where these meetings were held are communities that are, benefiting from real life development, electricity, road infrastructure, schools, hospitals. I mean, they've seen it. It's not like I'm going to bring it to you. They've seen it. They are living with it. Of course, if the president is coming, they wanted to come and say, this is the promise you gave us, and you have fulfilled those promises. And then you maintained, you actually did this. So for me, I'm not surprised that we have those large turnouts of people to come and celebrate with him. I see this as a form of celebration, for the success that President Barrow has done in terms of transforming the lives, of the Gambian people.
Assalamualaikum mbokk nga mi nekk seetaan QTV di leen dalalaat ñëwaat nañ pour indi leen li nga xam ne moo nekk special live broadcast comme na leen ko xamee rek gannaaw bu mu jeexal li nga ne moo nekk first leg of his Meet the People tour njiitu réew mi His Excellency President Adama Barrow tey la war a delsi ci Banjul gannaaw bu mu jeexal li nga ne moo nekk almost 9 days yu mu spend si àll bi jógee ko NBR dem CRR dem URR dellusiwaat Lower River Region tey na comme na leen ko gisee ci gannaaw rek fi mu nekk ni président bi àgg na fa li nga ne moo nekk Kallaaji fi nga ne moo nekk border bi diggante Lower River Region ak West Coast Region gis nañ ko mel ni gouverneur bi Ousmane Bojang ak ñeneen nombre tànk yi nga xam ne ñoo jógee West Coast Region dem nañ pour welcome président bi waaye gis nañ tam ay supporters yi nga xam ne moo nekk National People's Party dem nañ pour teertu yi nga xam ne moo nekk président bi comme ni ma leen ko waxee rek si kàllaama angala rek QTV dina indi live broadcast comme ni ma ko waxee rek suma naataango Ansumane Eso Ñaasi koo xam ne for the past 1 week mu ngi ànd ak président bi si tool bi di indil ay xibaar yu leer su nga xam ne moo nekk jóge ko si tool bi waaye tam am nañ Baboucarr Cissé koo xam ne kooku tam suñu reporter moom tam dinañu bëgg di jox ay updates from different locations yëpp pour mun a gis ne daal lépp loo xam ne xew na ci welcoming bi ñu indi leen ko fi nga ne moo nekk QTV fii tam dinaa fi am nga ne moo nekk Sidi Cissé ñëpp ràññee nañ ko Sidi Cissé nga ne moo nekkoon sama naataango si State of Affairs léegi da politicien la si wàllu daare boobu Sidi tam dinañu dimbale pour si waxtaan bi espèce ci wàllu li ñu gis noonu loolu ngeen ni nga gis loolu ma nekk kàllaaji gis ngeen mbooloo bi nga xam ne ñëw nañ si bridge bi lii nag tradition lii aada la I mean anytime président su mu jógee too rek su ñëwee ba fii nii waa West Coast Region fi nga xam ne ñëpp dañu ne moo nekk di powerhouse of Gambian politics I mean dañ dee ñëw in large numbers pour teertu fi nga xam ne moo nekk président Adama Barrow baɗigol mbel ɓe QTV jiɓe kan ngal bisimilla ko tenke sayin nata pour que special live broadcast nati aliye comme aliyalo ñamen mbiɗam banko ñaton ko his excellency président Adama Barrow ñanta mbuɗon am banjul kabaring ala first leg bank wala sango sang aka murumurungo menke banko kan miano ko luwalu wala sementa kapo sango sang président at least twice ñanta kata animori kacha so président ay wala ke intermento first leg wo banta miano ko ay wala ke bolon kono piɗum aɓe murata banjul and then comme aliaji ñamen ton eɓe kalaji le tan ɓen mo jamanara pour ka ɓendum kalaji bri joto aliaji gouverneur West Coast Region Ousmane Bojang ngala wala ba resifla ngala gouverneur of Lower River Region wala ba gungela wala ba dandana fo bri joto den hand over to the governor of West Coast Region ñimtemeɗe wala ɓe caring ande ngalon fe on fen ketaje QTV manatali ko manatali live QTV Jan. Just, I mean, like I said, I mean, you're watching QTV, and this is a special live broadcast of the President's return from his first leg of the 2025 constitutionally mandated Meet the People tour. As you are seeing on your screen, those are live images from the Kalaji Bridge, where, I mean, the governor of West Coast Region and of course, I mean, other senior government officials and party supporters of the National People's Party at the border to welcome, I mean, the president. And then QTV will bring you live, I mean, coverage from Kalaji down to Banjul. I mean, just to give you that, I mean, that update as to what's been happening from Brikama, I mean, going to Banjul. So like I said, I have in the studio CD Cissé. But like I said, my colleague Ansumane Estonyasi has been covering, I mean, the tour for the past, I mean, 1 week. And, you know, he will also be giving us updates as to where the convoy is and all that matters. CD, comme nga fanya mintemento banko nyato ka nyata kamurlo bi kabring ala force leg to bank. Ita la jeroto. Muna stand out ite in terms of, you know, membe keta nyin to kono.
Barka bake Aliou ngay tentu ani do kulal min bebe QTV be tentu la ani fana nyin tembento milbe la moy kan television auto ani fana milbe jibe kan kebe konton ni wularan tilola tumomina tariko fana be kisafeka ninko tariko jama sabaha ni mu adolati president kadung bari bi ni ala taala sonda president Barrow la nyin dungo West Coast kono kana fo banjun abekele nyon tawolde Aliou njikira ko yo mani kamwela kodi abekele nyon tawol is going to be one of its kind. Those are going to be the surprises. No, we have a surprise package for the Gambian people. Surprise package and also surprise of minting wolon Gambia dungul bi ibatandila dunia bela ko President Barrow kaira mansati President Barrow do kulati obe tandila mobela but pro dunka kachanye bunda yele ya fanya me nyimu adoleti banko kan president ase minimum ke kadin kiral jibe ka fo jamano soto ka fo mid farmers and in general kacha sani another ke ko mid people store banko la loi me 1997 constitution nyenti ke bunda keme fula muang anim fula tunkun tang ani lulu wala nyin sembo di president wala ko anyanda minimum na asake signa fula bar president Barrow aka ke signa clineti parce que aka kenyami anyantale parce que bi
mune osa muna ako marnga ke signa clinton
parce que ni president na wututa jamala kabulano security forces anin ku jama masakunda do kulalo ol be mu fenen mi alonko na fulo jamala kata akunna and a better fana nibita.
See, I'll get back to you. Let's now go live to my colleague Ansumana Esonyasi, who is currently at the Kalaji Bridge. Ansumana, thank you so much for joining us on the program. What is the atmosphere right now at the Kalaji Bridge? Well, I mean, we will reconnect with my colleague Ansumana Esonyasi, but I mean, that's the atmosphere right now at the Kalaji Bridge. I mean, people are out in numbers, I mean, jubilating and cheering, I mean, the president as he enters the West Coast region. CDS, is it continuous?
Yeah, walam ko banko la luwale nyanto diala pour asa mini ane senelale kacha ane banko dingole kacha ane fana asa jibero ke do kol membe banko kan ane fana kole ya kol membe je ni tata tundo dole sa fon sulata courant la sulata jiol la sulata silol la andum fana banko fana ka do ko nyaming minister la katara dinkralto director la katara dinkralto wol watini wadi is a president kalamutandi misal fe bi ali unida minister of agriculture this ndata demba kunda base URR nga nyine keje tonya aske ya keje ni tankeje bari na nyanda mo nekele je ko mo woni lule keje so a better for professor fana sa finti ay tawo do ko jibe bi ala finto kan ay silol jibe ay karamol jamil be lokan ani la kotangolu ay be jibe a fango la CDR sotoda ko fengo nyil jibe amanke ko mole ko kibaro nyil futandama bari niya jibe fana nyin tamon kono ku jama kede je min kede landam ke min moli a fam wolon kaje ko bi do kolbe ke kan milman ke masakunda la do ko dron Gambia la banko keda banko la dum yalon kon na baluo jama akabona bantal na safaro jama akabona bantal bar bi nga Gambia soto mi yalon ko Gambia dingol be na fulo dunde kan banko kan ka yirwa soto banko kan min keda nga do ko dinkraje le min keda cement factory ti membe lokan nga farfenye nga sapo fana jele wol fana be do ko min ke kan senola bundala ka baluo soto min keda mano nyint jilbe on kula mi yalon ko akuma ta bake but alu ku killing woketa CDR ti wolon ko Gambia dingol bi hani bi president Barrow kanule ando hani bi president Barrow masakunda ilafta la continue la le kat ko bewo jele to momen na futa tunduto molka findile ka bismillah andi ka sewo soto ka kontano soto la ko
so ilafta ka fo moli alka large crowd melije ay wala tande
ni man mo kanu warante imandra mola ko isimu te futa la noje ngani yola ka singo sambaje so mol men ka futa president ma e ka futo men ke je wolon kaje ko ay la hido min dila timandil bi nsafa ko Gambia ni sidula kemelon taw woro la fotan sebe e courant soto silo la do ko bi hane kiyankol mi yalon ko insana wolu mi yalon ko kunun ika jiklate ki silo la karola bi wol fambe silo be ba tine kono woto kula be kerim banko kam mi yalon ko nene ma jolom bi dindingoli andu nene ma jolon Gambia banko kan wolon nga First Republic soto nga Second Republic soto fobi mfutata nyin temben bar ngaje bi do kol be keka an Gambia la na fulol ba do ko kan wo keda kuud mi yalon keda nene ma jolati
wa silu gat rek ci kalama olof rek sidi comme ni ma ko don waxe rek xamnañ ne president bi fu mu duga sina West Coast yeen comme len ko ni ka gisse rek lolu live pictures la president mu ngi ekati lo xam gana bu mu duggé li nga ne mo naka West Coast yoon legi mu ngi kalaji lolu nga ne ka gisse I understand my colleague Ansumana is now on. Ansumana, thank you so much for being on the program. I mean, can you please describe the atmosphere for us at Kalaji right now?
Thank you, Aliu, and to the audience out there. As you might have been following, we just crossed the bridge to the West Coast region and here in Kalaji, where His Excellency the President was received by dignitaries, from local government authorities to residents of West Coast region, as well as even some cabinet ministers who've all come out to welcome him as he makes his way to Banjul, having done North Bank, CRR, South and North, URR and LRR. And the tour party it's just ushered into West Coast region. There is His Excellency the President there waving at the crowd that has been here, I understand, since in the morning, some of them waiting to welcome him back into West Coast region, where he would be holding series of meetings and site visits in the coming days. to be specific, come this weekend, he would resume the tour again after 2 days of resting for tomorrow and the day after. But just to say, it has been an exciting one, Aliu. We've had the opportunity to go to several communities across the country, notably in North Bank region where the tour started, and then we made our way to CRR South and North, then to URR. But I can tell you, Aliu, as you can see on your screens right now, it's a jubilant crowd that is out here showing appreciation, if you like, for His Excellency and his administration as far as service delivery is concerned. We've had opportunity to interact with cabinet ministers, with community leaders during the course of this tour, and I can tell you most of what we've heard from them has been quite positive reviews. Mbokk yi ñu ngi nii fi nga xamante ne mooy Kallaaji gannaaw buñ jaalee bridge bi ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi réew leen mbir ne daf doon wër réew mi yëpp ndax baati réew mi moo ko sas ne ci at bi suy benn yoon war naa mën a dem wër réew mi yëpp disoo ak doomi réew yi waxtaan ak ñoom ci lu jëm ci yenn ci liggéey nga xam ne nguuram somba na ko waaye tamit déglu ñu wax ko li nga xamante ne mooy seen soxla ci wàllum yokkute naka noonu tamit moom mu gisal boppam mooy li anglais di naan first hand ban façon ngi jeexantal la li nga xamante ne mooy liggéey bu nguuram di def ci réew mi am ci dundini doomi réew yi kon lii mu nekk loo xamante ne Aliou lu am solo la tey nag gannaaw bi nga xamante ne ndar keppal na wër bi mu doon def ci tundi North Bank region ñu dem ci CRR ca bot Saloum ba ak fi nga xamante ne mooy penk daal di dem tamit ci tund buñ gën a xamee ci Upper River region tey ñu daal di ndar keppal wër bi ñu doon def ci Lower River region ñu daal di ko teeru nag teeru bu rafet fii ci West Coast region ñuy nga xamante ne maa ngi doon wax rek ci kàllaama nasaraan ne ci weekend bi nga xam ne lañ dégmal ci fii di West Coast region njiiti réew mi dina fi amit tamit ay ndaje yoo xam ne dina ko def ak doomi réew yi nekk fii ci biir tund bi naka nooy tamit dem nemmeeku yenn ci bërëb yi nga xamante ne ay bërëbu liggéeykaay nguur la ay bërëbu liggéeykaay yi nga xamante ne doomi réew yi ñoo ko moomal seen bopp mooy benn yi waaye naka noonu tamit mu gisal boppam yenn ci projet yi nga xamante ne nguuram moo ko daal di nekk di doxal fii ci biir tund gile gisal boppam ban jeexantal projet yooyu am ci dund ne ñi nga xamante ne ñoo nekk ci dëkkuwaay yooyu leen kon lu am solo la national bu yeboo sax nga ne national event la ndax baati réew mi moo daal di sas ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi ba ñu mën a am lu mel nii so Aliou, as you could see, the convoy is moving at a very slow pace, and we have people who've come out, some in APRC t-shirts, brandishing the president's image, showing support. Of course, as you may be aware, his party, which is the ruling party, is in alliance with the former ruling party, that is the APRC. There are also people who've come out, ordinary Gambians, as well as party militants of other allied parties who've all come out here to welcome His Excellency the President. I understand we have a similar welcoming that is awaiting us in Abuko as well as in Banjul. So we're foreseeing that this is going to be a very long night for us. At this pace, I'm not sure we will make it to Banjul even in the next 3-4 hours. Aliou.
Well, I doubt, you'll get a Banjul in the next 2 or 3 hours. I mean, from experience, get ready, my brother. Ansumana, so you mune wax rek gannaaw bi nga agé Kallaaji kan mo fa nekkon pour teertu président bi ci wàll yi nga xam ne ay nama tànkale gannaaw gouverneur bi.
bàyyi naa ci xel suma mag bu góor nekkoon ni tamit gouverneur député gouverneur naka noonu tamit am benn jamono nekkoon na fi jawriñ bi ñu dénk wàllum nguuri ndaw yi mooy honorable Moussa Amul Ñaasi naka noonu tamit ay ministre ay jawriñ ci nguuram teew nañ fi bokk na ci mooy ministre bi ñu dénk wàllum mbay mi honorable Demba Sabali bokk na ci tamit gis naa ci ki nga xamante ne ab jawriñ la woon ci nguur gi jamono ji ñu daal di ko tàppal mu bokk ci ñu yedd njiiti réew mi muy advisor on digital affairs honorable Ousmane Bah nekkoon ministre bu digital economy gis naa fi tamit ñeneen ak ñeneen ñoo xamante ne ay ministre lañ ku ci mel ni honorable Hamad Ba ku ci mel ni ki nga xamante ne mooy defense ministre bi ak ñeneen ñu ngi fi ci ay borom ndombo tànk ci biir West Coast Region tamit Aliou ñi nga xamante ne local government authorities yaa ngi fi gisuma fi nag chairman waaye xam naa ne ñi nga xamante ne ñoo toogal council wala ñim yebal ñu ngi fi loolu yëg naa ko te bëri na ci ñoo xamante ne ay borom ndombo tànk lañ ci dëkk yi nga xam ne ñoo wër kalaaj yi tamit nag gis naa fi man suma alkaali bopp nga xamante ne fa ma bàyyeekoo muy Buyaam moom it mu ngi fi woon kon képp koo xamante ne a borom ndombo tànk la teew na fi Aliou
kon waa Buyaam nga esew
mooy capital Fuladu xam nga Buyaam doo ko tollale Dongoroba kon su ma fa àggee man dinaa welcome his excellence Aliou
waa esew soo ñu mënee wax rek ñi nga xam ne ñoo fa teewul lan la gaa yi nekk di wax ci welcoming bi
li ci ëpp ci li ñoo wax mooy welcome dalal ak jàmm gàttal daal dañ ko nekk di teeru ñii di woy ñii di tàccoo ko fecc am tamit ñi nga xamante ne ñu ngi ci wàllum xarala ji ñoom it ñu ngi fi dafa mel ni rek kontante la ci ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo teew si fii pour dalal ko kon mooy li nga gis Aliou convoi bi daal li ma la wax rek ci kàllaama nasaraan dañ nekk di yoot ñun dañ doxut sax ñu ngi yoot fi mu ne te ci anam bi ñoo demee yaakaaruma dinañ teel a àgg Banjul
comme ni ma ko waxee rek takka sa daal ba ñu dégg kak parce que xam naa ne moom te xam naa soldat sax duñ la bàyyi si gannaaw
waaye loolu la liggéey baa demee noonu Aliou miin nañ ko waaye tamit luñ doon séntu la ndax xamoon nañ ne ñun ñu ngi war na bàyyeekoo man sa konko depuis si suba waaye dafa am fi ñu jaar dem nañ si nga xamante ne kuy na la boori kol yor na le dem seeti yoon bi nga xam ne njiiti réew mi mu ngi ko liggéey ci jamono ji lu toll ci lu toll ci almost téeméeri kilomètre ci yoon ñu dem fa yàlla wërsëgal ñu nag man mii amoon na ab waxtaan boo xamante ne doxoon na suma diggante ak moom His Excellency président ma laaj ko lu jëm ci liggéey yooyu nga xam ne nguuran ko faa def mu wane mbégteem ak kontaanteem mu ne ndax projet yi boppam la te yoon boobu leen nguur moo ko dépense amul nekkul loo xamante ne dañ jëlee ko dañ laaj ndimbal ci bitim réew wala jëlee dara ci bitim réew pour liggéey yooyu leen mu ne lépp loo xam ne ñu ngi ko faa dépense ci yoon almost 10 billion ci Gambian dalasi ñu ngi ko dépense mu nekk xaalis boo xamante ne fii ci réew mi lañ ko liggéeyee GRA ñoo ko daal di collecte ci naamo yi ñoo jël mu rafetlu tamit ñu waa GRA seen liggéey dem na ba wax ne sax lu jëm ci wàllum seen projet bi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko amal jamono ji mu di digitalisation project bi loolu nekk na loo xamante ne moom kontaan na ci lool kon Aliou di wax ne rek bëri na ci place yoo xam ne dem nañ nemmeeku ji ko tey dem nañ tamit ci fi nga xamante ne ab benn factory la factory bi nag ñu ngi faa liggéey li nga xamante ne mooy plywood ñu ko jëfandikoo ci wàllum samp loolu yi tamit mu nekk lu am solo bokk na ci place yi nga xam ne demoon nañ nemmeeku ji ko tey
waaw def mel ni Ansoumana maa ngi gis def mel ni convoy bi léegi mu ngi gën a gaaw parce que xam naa ne da ngeen am a long journey ahead xam naa ne moom dinañ la bàyyi mais bi soo àggee fi nga ne mën ko Brikama dinañ la jëmari connect pour nga gën ñu wax lu leer comme ni nga ko waxee rek sunu naataango Baboucarr Cissé moom dinañu nekkal Brikama pour jox ñu update rek asto lan moo nekk di xew fale ca Brikama Sidi aka mënta ale mu ne plan Sidi
jërëjëf
hani ese moom sa amon computer ko ñoko malam pour la bañ wata ju wal igade ba ay tabaro siti kuke
abaraka bake Aliou abaraka bake eso doku kendo mi yalon ko QTV anen kibar talal be bake kan parce que kuma yata bake pour ñi kata ko min be ke kam pour mo yaaje donc président oje abe dunkan West Coast dingol be tentulam be jela kabo gouverneur la nen do kula koton min be je but Aliou mi CDRO kija wolon ko do ko min be ke kam banko kan Gambia dingol be container wala be sewori wala eso e silo min fo min keta kabada silo de collier silo anim factory mi yalon ka plywood de da jilbe mu do ko le mi yalon ko president Barrow be siri njambi amada siri njambi motowol bondi la jaye samba anati dala Gambia dingol le tam anum fana nana ke do kutu mi yalon ko Gambia dingol fon talo yalon nin ko na mojo bar be na mojo kan kan na faje mu daale bar ninga na mojo man na faje warum kulume on kolya kulon andu membe sede kan wolon ko do ko be ke ganyi bankun kambi ngan na mo minjo wolom wodo bi Aliou ko eso ya fo nyame kaboka laje fo kan me futala State House ngamra du talala me futala jebi miyo sabolon ko Gambia dingo bele findira ka tande dunia bele ko President Barrow 2026 back to State House.
Comme as mana ya fo nyamen silo in terms of road infrastructure akamunta wo is top on his agenda. Mune wo commend as far as the president is concerned. Akamunta silo ko maya abuka chahane wala.
President Barrow philosophy so I miro so ko if you want to build a country you build your roads. Nila tela banko lola ka banko yirwa silo dada silo le ka ne silo doku futa nyomo ka sonea anu futa nyomo sonea da julia ka sonea wolto ta mol fana tara nyomo fana ka sonea wolto so akumaya ta bake pro ka silo doku anu president Barrow nyin dan kene akor ne silo doku o mu kule de miyalon ko akumaya ta bake but fana better aliu pro fana nga hakilma ya dokol miyalon ko keta and tumomina President Barrow be nyum kumba boro keka doko do be mandang masakunda la doko we have seen the FAR Foundation FADBA Foundation the maternity wards million ko ibe local anu ninga jibe bi nyin tili kono ndo kono president tara side visitol minna asiata na bedera pro ngo mol kala mutandi wol bere aboda jang minketa ka
mbe o malale. So what we will do, let's just go with a report that my colleague Ansman prepared. I mean, that was on the president's first day when he departed Banjul. I mean, after crossing over to the ferry, he visited, like he said, conducted some side visits. I mean, to the Nawek substation in Bangali, the FAR Foundation maternity ward in SO, before a meeting in Makabalamani. So, I mean, let's just go with that news report, and when we come back, we will discuss further about those side visits and the meetings and the comments made from that meeting. Let's take a listen.
The head of state was accorded a rousing welcome by hundreds of supporters amidst drumming and cheers as he departed the State House. He was received and seen off at the Banjul ferry terminal by the Vice President, Cabinet Ministers and Service Chiefs.
It is 1 year, and since 1 year we have been implementing projects. And some of these projects, it is the technicians who are briefing me or some of my ministers. So it's important for me to go and see for myself. Sometimes they can tell you they are 90% while they are 70%. So to verify that and see exactly what is happening, that's why we are visiting project sites. We are engaged in a lot of projects, many of them. I cannot visit all, but the most important ones, I will try my best to make sure I visit them.
In Barrow, he was received in a similar fashion by regional authorities before proceeding to SL District Hospital, where he visited the FAB maternity ward currently under construction. The First Lady Fatoumata Barrow expressed her excitement at seeing the project's progress as it nears completion.
I am happy that at least we are contributing to the development of the country as a foundation, and I believe we want to leave a legacy. In life, whatever you do, you need a legacy in life, and this is a footprint. We won't call it a thumbprint, but a footprint. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to come and see that we have gone to another level.
From SL, the president and his delegation also visited Jufure, where he visited the mission project currently under construction, expressing satisfaction with the progress of works. He then proceeded to Kate Demba Hole Lower Basic School, which was recently upgraded with 6 additional classrooms and an IT lab by the MRC Holland Foundation. Dr. Habibatu Drame, the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education, commended the initiative and highlighted its importance in improving access to quality education in the region.
So happy and to tell the public that development is coming to everyone, irrespective of your location, by the grace of God. This is the mandate, this is the mantra, and this is the way forward.
The visit to Kate Demba Hole was followed by a brief stop at what is perhaps the most significant energy project in the area, a newly completed, fully functional interconnection power station in Bangali, which the Managing Director of Nawek Gallo Sedi described as highly significant.
Switch station provides the redundancy that is needed to ensure that there's always continuity in terms of power supply. So if you have a problem in another part of the country, you can still have electricity on the other side. Before that, if you have power problems, say in Barrow, all the way to Farafenni, everywhere is off.
The president's final stop for Monday was at Makabalamane village, where several speakers, including George Sonko, Chief of Lower Nyomi, Omar Diouf, a youth leader, and Adama Barrow, the women's representative, commended the president for bringing several development projects to the area. They particularly highlighted the Hakalang Road project, which they describe as historic. However, many farmers also expressed concern about the price of groundnuts, the lack of roads in certain communities, and the need for more hospitals. In response, the president reaffirmed his administration's strong commitment to addressing their development needs while renewing calls for unity and peaceful coexistence.
There you heard my colleague Ansumane Nyasi, reporting on the president's engagement on his first day of the tour. Having had visited, the FAR Foundation Maternity Ward in SL, the Nawek substation in Bangali, the Jufre Museum, and of course, Kerdemba Hole Lower Basic School. And a final meeting, a joint meeting at Makabalamane, a joint meeting of Lower Nyomi, Upper Nyomi, and Jokadu. Sidi, what do you make up of the engagements on day one? How significant are these projects?
Very, very important. It is very important that President Barrow took his time to see these projects. Like he said in the interview, of course you can get briefings. They can tell you 75% work have been done. Maybe in the actual fact it's about 50%. But for him to go for himself and see the progress of the work and the work that has been done is quite important. When you looked at some of the site visits that he has done, the FAR maternity that is in SL is very important because we have seen the FADBA Foundation, the work that they're doing, complementing the efforts of the government, especially in the health sector. Having this new maternity block built is to help our mothers, our sisters, our wives, to have at least a decent form of childbirth and also get all the support. Jufre Museum is quite important. It's part of our history, and it has run down for many, many years. And for government, the arts and culture and the Ministry of Tourism to invest into renovating that and putting it in a proper fitting.
Especially now with the new Hakalang Road.
The new Hakalang Road, of course, that is quite important. Kerdemba Holly Lower Basic School is quite important because the population growth in the Gambia is quite high. So the demand for schools and quality education is quite important. And I think that's what President Barrow also want to make so. Part of his legacy to create that conducive educational environment and quality education as well. The NAWEC substation is very important. Like Gallo said, the MD of NAWEC said, if there are problems, the whole North Bank will just go blackout.
It used to have load shedding.
Load shedding and all that. Yeah. So building, that's a modern technology, being put in terms of the electricity and all that is happening in terms of technology. It is actually helping. You can have a substation that can deal with some of these crises. And, we all want to have electrified country, and I think that is the way to go. And President Barrow, part of his mantra is to give every single Gambian electricity. And I think these are projects that are very, very important. And he has gone there and he has seen these projects, he has seen the progress of the projects, and he's quite happy. So I think definitely I will give it a 10 out of 10 for this first day that he went to see this project. And I must congratulate FADBA for the First Lady for this wonderful job that he is doing to complement the efforts of the government in terms of health sector.
So how about the meeting at Makabalamane? Like many other meetings, even though people will come out to acknowledge and appreciate the efforts being done by the government to bring in developments that they have never dreamt of. People still appeal. Yes. Electricity, farm inputs and all that. Are you confident that the government is going to address their challenges?
We have seen, the last two Meet the People's Tour, in fact, last year, the Minister of Water Resources, Honorable Musa Drame, did say, he went with an exercise book so that he can take note of water challenges in certain parts, of the country. But he came back with an empty, book. He has not written anything why it is a challenge. We have seen this Meet the People's Tour, over 50 boreholes, have been inaugurated in various communities in this country. What that shows is that these are requests, these are demands that were made, in previous years or previous Meet the People's Tour. And the delivery is there for everyone to see. You know, you take an example of Hakala Road. Hakala Road was the demand of the Nyominkas. I think the Jarankas now cannot bluff them anymore. Aliu, I'm sorry.
That's what I've seen now. I mean, Nyominkas are just bragging about the new Hakalang Road.
The Hakala Road. And I drove on the road, and it's beautiful. You know, well constructed. Those were demands.
By the way, of course, many doubted that the government was going to build that road.
Because it's one of the most difficult roads to build because of the nature of the road. And rather unfortunate because most of those, they are farmlands, you know, they're what they locally call the furrows and stuff. So there's a lot of work that needs to have been done there. So
and maybe because they were promised several occasions by the government that they were going to build the road, and it never happened. So
yeah, I mean, at least one thing about Adam Barrow is that when he gives his word, he lives by it. And I think Gambian people now trust that. He's not the politician who just come and do sweet talks. He's a politician who tells you what he will do, and he'll make sure it's done. And we have seen that.
But some people will say, okay, even though you said, okay, he is someone who says something and live by it. Some people will say, okay, but he said he was going to serve 2 terms. Now he's going for 3rd term.
I mean, I don't think Barrow ever had said that.
Okay.
He never have said
But he
that.
said he's a believer of term limits.
Of course, he's a believer of term limits.
Yeah.
Yes. Before I exit my house, I have to be ready. Yeah. So he's not ready yet. Okay. And that's another topic.
Okay. So silu gata rek comme yamoy eso ya fanyami ala reporter ila day 1 ko men ko wala keta ngaje president kabira bota banjul kabira sound takata nyomi ngaje je fana mol pintra nyama ngalo lo hanasa be celebration la hakalan silo penkoti so bari ngaji kabira crosta atara eso dula mi ko fa foundation ibe matanti wot lo kanje abuda ya atara jofure fanang dula mi ko dula kumalam in terms of tourism and of course the history of this country ibe museum lo kanje kabira boda je fana tara nawek la section me bangali aning ker demba xoles karamuto mi ko je fana classroom la fa ani computer wosi fa yo be keje kara meeting o yemen ke makka balamani. What's your take? Ite mo nek
baraka bake Aliou ko nga fo nyamen president la nyi mini ngoni nyi tama loi la nyanto dial and loi assessment president Barrow bole keka ko taye do ko le jibe ta enim banko dingole kacha andu banko dingole sulo min soto ye lammo la andu ye jabi and therefore a senator ko nyin silo anin silo jama fatatale katu ko minio sabu ako anin mol mimbe silo kan safer la jama la bije. You know, he went with a lot of technocrats, you know, who sits and take notes of every single request, demand, challenges that villagers, people in the communities, mol be mil fokan ke safe. Ni muruntana wolum fenti mi wala dadi mi ba la ka jibe. Anu nyinti ala nyin silo mi alonko ala telefolo birabe nyun kumpa boro keka wolum nyamune kin suware ne subahe hen. You know, force de bumjene bira fintita tonya. You know, atarde de nyawanya ka finti bar nga jele ay mimbe xamé wolungo la aketa min keta mitinoti wo kola fanan kata side visit ke Fatba Barrow Foundation SEO maternity ward ibe mi lokan jofre musumo nying mi alon ko akumayata ba ken tare ko mbebe Gambia tare ko lo Gambia tare ko mem to do with slave trade, to do with jofre, to do with kunda kinde wodula manyane ke dulade mi alon ko aju ko nyanda du bennal wodon kuler mi alon ko for arts and culture ministry of tourism ka wota ko doku wakumayata ba ken min keta ker demba holi lower basic school ti won dulade mi alon kumayata seru sango dol sodola wato dol sodo Aliou dindingol ka kilometer lulu kilometer worowula ka tama kata karamudo president Barrow ko atela masakunda ya xamo min soto dinno manyane kilometer fula tamala kata karamudo an won kuler mi yalon ko aba kekan woto kumayata bakel mi yalon ko kanyin karamugol sabatindi na taradulalto min kede bangali nawek substation ti o fanamu kuler mi yalon kumayata bake courant bi courant do ko nyi a falintale fanna me mi yalon ko ka me technology la dundaje iba jela nawe kenyi substation min lo abatinda nyomi bi wo tundola hani courant e kole ko so karo dola nyi karado nyi o fana sa courant so no sango dolto iba jela to momena nyi do ko sifal ma finti courant na coupé de na fada damin dro o dula be man courant so mo ko len mi yalon ka ko mayta bake o ko le na makka balamane mitin bake je hani makka balamane mo le wosio ke silo la karola bare president Barrow ka be kala hidoke bare ako makka balamane la silo wo silo mi ba wosikan abe dunna silo ko mi be dokul bare sila kote wala mo wolfo wala mo ma mi yalon ko ala kuma kan aka kanta bakel.
I mean yeah Jubi, I mean many people will argue that okay the tour is constitutionally mandated by law, But many are saying, okay, these two are politically motivated. How do you respond to that?
You know, I mean, I know we had Sadauda here, we had Jammeh, and we have Adam Barrow. Of course, when Jammeh was doing his tour, the very people who are talking then, talking now, were here then. I mean, they don't come out and say, okay, you know, this is taking a political euphoria or a political, you know, platform or whatever. They won't say such. I'm not saying, you know, why they didn't say it or why they're saying it now. They are entitled to their opinion. But this government, under the leadership of President Barrow, have given us the space, you know, for us to make our opinions. And you can make your opinion today and go to bed, not fearing anybody, not fearing anyone picking you up. So, I mean, they are entitled to their opinion. But again, when you look at some of these meetings, or you look at these meetings, you know, we have seen the quality of the meetings. Meetings that are done, people came out and spoke and appreciate and make demands, and responses were given. Say, for example, agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabari, would come and respond to some of the questions or some of the issues that have been raised. When you talk local government, the same. When you talk about water resources, the same. When you talk about the president himself, he will take the platform and respond to some of these things. And there are people sitting there taking notes of all the issues that have been raised. So how can you say that's politics?
I think it has to do with some of the utterances that are being made by some people who take to that podium, I mean, directing certain attacks maybe towards the oppositions, and that's why they assume, okay, this is more like a political campaign now. It seems like this is a campaign tour. I mean, certain people, they take the podium, they say certain things that even the president himself wouldn't say such.
Yeah,
on such gathering.
I mean, when you go to these communities, you know, the local stakeholders will list the number of people who are going to speak.
But sometimes even the local people, these are ministers who will say certain things that, I mean, you and I, you know, we will not definitely, this is not the right platform to say certain things.
I'm not aware.
I'm sorry, even the president wouldn't say certain things.
I'm not aware why a minister have said something that I would say it is out of context, you know, as far as the Meet the People tour is concerned. I've followed it, but I've not had any of such. But if it happens, we'll get to see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just si lu gàtt rek comme li ñu doon waxtaane li nga xam ne moo nekk day one gis nañ li nga xam ne moo xew I mean président dem na place yu bari I mean dem am meeting tam ak waa ñoomi jokkaadu Maka Balamaane fi nga xam ne gars yi gërëm nañ ko si liggéey bu rafet bi nga xam ne mu ko def ñoomi xaqalang road bi comme ni ñu ko gisee rek xam naa right now convoy baa ngi biir Poñi ñu ngi drive di ñëw fi nga xam ne moo nekk Brikama xam naa li fa mënta nekk rek sunu naataango Ansoumana Essonia dinañu indil xibaar yu leer kon ma koy Babacar Cissé moom tam mu ngi si yeneen place yi moom tam dinañu bu joxe ay updates comme mbéyda bi naka la mel ci wàllum welcoming bi comme noo jàngati I mean first day bi day one of the president's engagement.
jërëjëf Aliou di sant ñi yëpp ñoo xam ne ñu ngi seetaan dañuy déglu dañuy toppa si jamono bi président bi wax dëgg yàlla nu ngi ko waxee tàmbali na loo xam ne doole bi loi bi moo ko jox mooy suñ constitution bi 222 section 222 subsection 515 pour ne dafa war a neemeeku askan bi di dem seet liggéey yoo xam ne nguuram bi sas na ñu ngi ko def si suufi Gambia loolu nekk na loo xam ne lu am solo la moom sax wax na si njëlbeen bu moo dugga ferry bi wax na ne baax na pour mu dem seet parce que léegoo-léeg mun na ñëw ñu ne la def nañ liggéey boo xam ne mara deetaan baax na lool fekk xëy na àggul foofu kon moom si boppam su demee mu gisal ko boppam dina xam fa la liggéey bi toolu te ñaareel bi tam dina mun a waxtaan ak askan bi dina leen déglu te dina leen mun a tontu ñetteel bi tam dina mun a ànd ak ndaw yu bari yoo xam ne ñoom dinañ déglu di binda loo xam ne mooy njàmbat askan bi si gox yi so suñu ñibsee dina mun a toog di gestu loolu gis nga ne bu mu jaale dem na si béréb yu bari yoo xam ne liggéey la boo xam ne wax dëgg yàlla liggéey yooyu ñu ngi ko fekk si biroom bi di ko wane lii leen def la leen def waaye pour mu dem foofu mu gisal ko boppam loolu am na solo gis na tam Sona Siam mooy Fatoumata Barrow mooy First Lady moom tam si foundation bi mooy Fa Foundation moom tam mu ngi def liggéey boo xam ne di jàppale nguur ji si mbiri si fànn wér bu yaram bi gis na ne président bi dem na si liggéey boobu mooy Fa Foundation maternity unit boo xam ne ñu ngi ko sampa esew loolu nekk na loo xam ne lu am solo la président bi tam dem na Jufre museum bi loo xam ne foofu am na solo lool parce que Gambia foo ko dégg rek ñu ne Gambia dafa nekk loo xam ni dégg bu am history la ngir lan slave trade Kunta Kinte Jufre yooyu yëpp nit yi dañoo jógee ba bitim réew di seet si place bu mel noonu kon nag su fekkee defar nañ ko nu mu waree dina nekk loo xam ne ñu bari dina ñëw di ko nemeeku di ko seet Kër Demba
xam naa ne si dina ñëwaat léegi I know we will now go with BBC Focus on Africa, and when we return, the live broadcast of the president's return from his tour continues. Do stay tuned.